What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 1, Episode 6. You guys, the episode is titled Dinner on the Rocks. So, before we jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not yet subscribed to my channel, then I'm gonna need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and by sharing the video. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss The Real Housewives of Dubai, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, I'm not going to start up where we started. I'm going to actually go and discuss the devil and her twink, the witch from London, whichever one you want to call her, Caroline Stanberry. So we see her and the little twink, aka Sergio. They are at the Raffles Hotel. So you guys know Caroline is an ambassador for things, but I don't know why I did air quotes, but you guys know Caroline's an ambassador for the hotel. So we see Caroline, she's there at the hotel. We see her family, we see her and Sergio. So the hotel is nice. I will say that about the hotel. It's very nice. So when it comes down to Caroline, I don't like the witch at all. But she should just tell Sergio, I don't want you to be my husband. I just want you for your penis, because that's literally all it is. Like, when you look at Caroline and Sergio, it's as if she doesn't like Sergio at all. It's really giving that she doesn't like him. So he's asking her to have sex, I guess while they're there, but she's like, no, because her parents are there. As big as that hotel was, I think you would be fine to have sex with him. But, again, like I said, I don't think that she really wants to go through with this. I feel like maybe she wants to have sex with Sergio. Excuse me, yo. I feel like she wants to have sex with Sergio, like, maybe once a week, once a month, once in a blue moon. I don't think she wants to have sex with Sergio every night at his, every whim and beck and call. So it would be nice. It would be good for her and for him if she just told Sergio, I don't really like you like that. Maybe. I don't know. But I get the vibe that Stanberry doesn't like her little twink that much. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. So then we later see her, and she and her daughter went out with her father, and they had dinner. And she was talking about, she's talking about the wedding. Again, don't care about the wedding, but she talks about the fact that with Sergio, his mom and dad are coming. With his mom and dad, Sergio, you should have just took the money and left the witch. So Sergio's parents, I don't think Sergio's parents like her that much, and I can't say that I blame them because the feeling is mutual. But I also don't like your son either. So hey, that's that. But Sergio's dad offered Sergio money to break up with Caroline. You should have took it. His mother cried when she found out that they were getting married, and it wasn't happy tears. I can imagine. Marrying a witch like you, yeah, I wouldn't be happy either. I wouldn't be happy either. But hey, you guys can let me know how you feel about Stanberry and, well, the Witch of London and the little twink. Let's pause here and let's move forward. All right, you guys, so next up, let's talk about Nina. So Nina has decided to get the ladies together. So when I say the ladies, she got Lisa Stanberry and Chanel Ayan, and they had, what did they have? They had high tea with each other. So I was with Lisa. When Lisa got there and sat down across from Stanberry, she paid the witch dust. Exactly. Pay her dust. Act like she don't exist. Because, technically she doesn't exist. In my personal opinion, Stanberry doesn't exist. So Nina, before they got into it, Nina apologized to Stanberry because you guys remember in the last episode when Sergio was talking about he wanted Caroline to sit with him and his family and her family. She was against it, but Nina defended Sergio, so she apologized for taking Sergio's side. And I'm like, what the hell are you apologizing for? You said what you said and you meant it. So because her feelings were quote unquote hurt, you're gonna apologize to her and kiss her ass. Fuck Stanberry. Fuck her. So then Ion, she brought up, the party that Nina had and the fact that, Stanberry was trying to imply that, the friendship with Ion and Lisa is that Lisa is basically trying to tell Ion who she can be friends with and who she can't be friends with. And Ion was like, that is not the case. Like, I am my own person. I can make my own decisions. And that is how it is. She doesn't dictate who I'm cool with and who I'm not cool with. Like, yeah, y'all just be playing games. Like, we could say the same thing about Stanberry with Brooks. We could say that, Stanberry puts Brooks up to the things that she, because it feels like, especially the first episode, it felt like, Brooks was coming at Ion because of Stanberry. So we could say that Stanberry is puppeteering Brooks in her wig. But I don't think that's the case. But it could be implied. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, think about it. So this is where this witch lost me. So she's talking about Lisa at the party, and she says that Lisa at the party, she attacked her. I was like, how does she attack you? What did she say? What did she do to attack you? You came at her. You called her and Ion them. You told her to go suck Sergio's dick. But she attacked you. And then you used a trigger word for black people and black women in particular. You called her aggressive. Nothing about her was aggressive. But then you want to sit there and say that, well, maybe I was drunk. Okay, say that, but don't say she attacked you and then don't call her aggressive. Like, that pissed me off. Like, that really did piss me off when she called Lisa aggressive and said that Lisa attacked her. And Lisa was like, no, we won't say it. We're not going to say that. And absolutely, we are not going to say that because that is not what happened in this whole situation. So, once again, Stanberry can go what? Straight to hell. So then Stanberry in her interview, she also says that she blamed it on her drinking and that she didn't eat that day. But then she says that, Lisa wants to turn everyone against her because of her British bathroom sarcastic humor. I got something to say for you and your British sarcastic bathroom humor. You see that? That's what I think about you and your British sarcastic bathroom humor. But Lisa eventually apologizes to the witch. I wouldn't have done it. I would have told her to go to hell. And she didn't even say she was sorry for. She didn't even say anything about the fact that you told a married woman to go suck your husband's dick. She said nothing. She's blaming and deflecting. But okay. Okay, so let's pause here, you guys, and let's move forward. Next up, you guys, we see Sarah. So Sarah is going to be hosting an event. So it is the Global Citizens Gala. So it's a forum. So she's going to be speaking at the forum. Well, actually, she said she's spoken at the forum, but this year they asked her to host it. So then she has Chanel come down, and Chanel's going to be there in attendance with her. And Chanel, baby, she come in typical Chanel fashion, and she stole the scene with that look. I was like, you better do the damn thing, Chanel Ion, because you look amazing. Love it. Her makeup, that dress, Chanel was giving. So Chanel tells her that, Brooks told her about her therapist, and she talked to Brooks' therapist. So, she's telling her, she says I guess she really didn't understand what the therapist meant. I don't think that the therapist meant this literally, Chanel. Oh gosh, Chanel is hilarious, but Chanel, I don't think the therapist meant literally water the plants. I think the plants were used metaphorically. I think the plants were because the therapist told her to water her plants. I think the therapist was telling you metaphorically to water your plants. I don't think that. And she was like, she told him she lives wherever she lives in an apartment, so she doesn't have plants. So Chanel is fake watering her plants. She said she waters the shit out those plants every morning. I was like, you gotta love Chanel Ayan. So, she asked her what kind of therapy was she doing. She doesn't know. She says, I think my therapist is from California, LA. Gotta love her. But I really do believe that the plants watering was a metaphor. I really do think it was a metaphor. I think it was water the plants in your life, like water the things that you need to tend to, not necessarily not necessarily water some plants. I think it was a metaphor. I'm pretty positive it was a metaphor. I'm pretty positive it was a metaphor. But Sarah is telling Ayan that she feels she would be best beneficial from some hypnotherapy. I agree with that. I do think that Chanel would be, you know, she could, some hypnotherapy would be good for her. But then, Sarah starts talking to Ayan about kindness. And I was with, Ayan, I'm like, is Sarah preaching? And you guys know I like Sarah, but I'm like, is Sarah preaching? Because it came out very preachy. But, then we see Sarah do her thing, and that's it for that scene. So you guys are going to pause here, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up the episode, and it's going to be wrapped up with Caroline Brooks. All right, you guys. So Brooks, damn these wigs. I mean, the wigs get worse and worse each week. Who in the hell did the damn wigs? Because so we see Brooks and Ayan, so they went furniture shopping. This wig she had on, and the issue with her wigs are, well, this one that she wore when she went furniture shopping, the fit was just terrible. I know it was going for the wet and wavy look, but it wasn't wet and wavy. It was wet and moppy. It looked like a mop. It looked like when you stick the mop in the water, and you take it out. That's what that wig looked like. It looked like a wet mop. Then on top of that, once again, I don't know who did her part, but that part is as wide as the center turn lane. That part is so I'm like, girl, that part is just too damn wide. Whoever you paid, I wonder how much you paid for those wigs, because it's more than one. It's more than one. So whoever designed those wigs, I would take them back to them and whoop their ass with the wig. I would be like, you sold me this wig. I would lasso that bitch and just whop, whop, whip their ass with it. Like literally whip their ass with that wig, because they're hideous. Like, I just want her to throw those wigs back to the burning gates of hell from which they came from, because that's what they look like. They came from the pits of hell. Just look like the devil said, whoosh, set it on fire and sent it up and said, go to Caroline Brooks. They're ugly. Ugly. And then the other thing that blows me is the makeup. Like when they try to put the makeup on the scalp part of the wig, it's orange. It's orange. Ugh. No. So, Brooks is telling Ayan that she's going to be having a pool day because two of her friends from Boston are going to be showing up. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So Ayan says that she's gonna come to the pool party just as she was born. I was like, girl, please don't do that. I don't think everybody wants to see you naked. I don't. So then we move over to the pool party, and damn, again, the wig. They gradually get worse. The parts, they're too wide and they're too crooked. Like it looked like somebody takes the part, starts the part, it starts going straight, then it curves, goes back straight, curves, go back straight. Whoever designed that wig, whoop their ass, beat their ass with the wig, just whoop it with the wig. So we see Ayan, and she's telling, Lisa about when she met up with Sarah and how preachy she was. And then we see Nina. So Nina is telling Sergio and Caroline about her dad and the fact that her dad is dealing with COVID and she's all the way in Dubai. So, and I guess her family's still here in Texas, in Austin. I don't know. So then we see Ayan and Nina. At one point they were talking, and Ayan brought up the situation with Stanberry and her, and how she felt like Nina wasn't on her side. So then she says, she asked her what's going on between us right now, and Nina broke down because of her dad. And Ayan was like, you know what, I am so sorry about that, because what she's talking about is pretty trivial in comparison to what Nina is going through with her dad. So then they sent the other two, Caroline, Stanberry, and Brooks. They told Sergio to go, Brooks told him to go eavesdrop. Stanberry told him to go and be backup. Backup for what? Sergio is like the seventh housewife at this point. He's in every damn scene, almost. Because, that scene where Stanberry and her daughter went out with her dad, Sergio wasn't there. But other than that, Sergio has been in every single episode. We don't see Rich like that. We don't see Ayan's husband like that. We don't see Nina's husband like that. Like, we don't see none of the husbands that much for Sergio. So Ayan was talking, when she was talking she then brought up a situation where she went out with Nina, and I think they went to like a bounce house, and Nina was like, yeah, you look like Big Bird. And Chanel in the interview, she's like, what is it? What is this Big Bird? So she says, let me look it up. She said, this yellow thing? She says, to be honest, I look better. She says, to be honest, she is black and she will look good in yellow. I was like, you sure would. You damn sure would look good in yellow. So then Brooks, now I don't know. I know she didn't mean anything by this, but I would have never said this on camera. That when her son texts her talking about he's starving and that he hates her or something like that, I'm like, girl, I would have never uttered those words on camera, because people are gonna think that you're a terrible mother and that you're neglecting your son. Do I believe that? No. But reading that out loud, and I know kids, teenagers can be very dramatic. I get it. I don't think that the boy was starving. Well, maybe he was, like, not to the point that, he had not starvation as in he hadn't eaten for days. He may have been hungry, but I don't think he was starving like that. Like a homeless child who, they don't know where their next meal is coming from. I don't think that. So then she discussed sending her son to boarding school. And I'm not one to tell people what to do with their kids, but when it comes to the boarding school situation, I don't necessarily think that that's a good idea. Just me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't think it's a good idea to send him to boarding school. Look at people who've been, like, kind of like what Stanberry was saying, and also what Sarah said later in the episode. Look at people who have been to boarding school. Most kids that went to boarding school, they would tell you that they would have preferred to have been with their parents. Because most times when, I mean, think about it, when rich people send their kids to boarding school, it's because they don't have time. They don't want to make the time for them. Like most rich people who send their kids to boarding school, the kids are already basically being raised by the nannies and whatnot. So, and look at Paris Hilton. She wasn't she a boarding school child, and listen to the stories that she told about what happened to her. So, I don't necessarily know if you want to send your kid to boarding school, but if you do, look into it. Talk to some of the kids in the boarding school and get engaged. I think that would be better for her to kind of, if she knows someone whose kids are in boarding school, talk to them. But you talked to Stanberry, and she told you what her experience was. If you know someone who's been in boarding school, talk to them and gauge their opinion just to see what they say. And then just make your decision. Then make your decision. All right, you guys. So then the last scene with Brooks. How old is her son? I just want to know that question. How old is her son? Because I thought it was kind of interesting that she had Sarah, her housekeeper, whatever you want to call the woman, cut up his chicken for him. I'm like, is he cut up his chicken? I was just stuck on the fact that she asked the woman to cut up his chicken. How old is he? Does he not know how to cut? Does he not know how to use a knife and a fork? That's just a question that I'm not being funny. I'm just asking. Because by the time I was, how old was I? I mean, shit, by the time I was, at least by the time I was 10, before that, long before 10, I knew how to microwave my own food. I knew how to use a stove. I knew how to use a stove. I knew how to cut up stuff. Like, I'm just asking. I'm just asking a question. How old is he? But I mean, then you looked at Brooks over there holding her fork and her knife. It's like, girl, why are you holding you talking about him, but you're holding your fork and knife at a neither here nor there. But then I think she got upset with him for eating with his hands. It's chicken. It's chicken, girl. It ain't that big of a deal. It is chicken. It's chicken. I can see it if it was a big ass steak, but it's some chicken. If he wants to grip it with his hands, girl, just let him grip it with his hands. It's chicken. And then you cut up the chicken, so it's not okay. The bouginess, because I mean that ain't that deep about no goddamn chicken. So what you gonna do if you took him like to a fast food establishment like, Popeyes? They don't always give you a fork, so what you gonna be like? Oh my God, you're eating at it with your hands. Okay, I'm just asking a question. I'm just kind of curious about. I mean, if it was a steak, yes, you eat that with a fork and a knife, but it was a piece of chicken. It was a piece of chicken, man. So she asked Sarah about her opinion on boarding school. So Sarah told her that she should spend more time with her son. And she actually said that more than once because when she sent her son to bed, she sent the housekeeper. I guess that's the housekeeper. I don't know what Sarah is to her. I didn't read it, but she sent her with him, and Sarah was like, you should be tucking your son in. True. True. Your son. I wonder, here's the thing when it comes to Brooks. Because they asked her, did she talk to her son about it? She says, no, she hadn't talked to him. I know he's a kid, but even with kids, you should also want your kids to feel like they have an input on things. Just my personal opinion. I think you should make your kids feel like they have an input instead of you always dictating and telling them what they're going to do. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not here to tell Brooks how to raise her child. And I don't think that's what anybody was doing in this scene. I don't think anyone was telling her how to raise him. I just think that people were just giving her their personal input, and she took it the wrong way, and especially toward her friend Adam, Brian, one of the two. She told him to shut the fuck up. I was like, whoa, my friend, that's too disrespectful to me. She told him to shut the fuck up because he's acting stupid. If it were me, I would have said, you know what, I know this is your house, but what's not gonna happen here is you're not gonna disrespect me and tell me to shut the fuck up. Because what I'm gonna do is get the fuck out of this house and out of your life. Like, you wouldn't see me ever again. And this supposed to be your childhood friend? Absolutely not. But let me know what you guys thought about Real Housewives of Dubai. Leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until next time, you guys stay safe. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed. I'll catch you guys in the next one.